Hello everybody, and thank you for joining us today for this CREST webinar, which is CREST SOC Accreditation. Your presenter today will be Jonathan Armstrong, and he's the Associate Accreditor at CREST. Just before I hand over to Jonathan, I'd just like to go through that there will be an opportunity for you to ask any questions at the end of this presentation. So that you don't forget those questions, please feel free to type them into the question pane, and we will make sure that we ask Jonathan those questions at the end and get many of those answered for you as we can. And as I say, it's your opportunity to ask any of those questions, so please do get round to typing those into the pane so that we can do that. So I will now hand over to Jonathan. Thank you, Ju.
Thank you, Debbie, and good afternoon to you all. Thank you for attending this CREST webinar today. As Debbie mentioned, my name is Jonathan Armstrong and I am an Associate Accreditor for CREST. Today we'll be providing a brief introduction to the SOC accreditation, the application process and some of the assessment areas. As mentioned, we will have time for questions at the end, but if you would like to contact me directly after the webinar, please feel free to do so on my email, which is there. So a brief introduction as to who we are and what we do. As you may be aware, CREST is an international not-for-profit accreditation and certification body that supports the technical information security market. Our primary activities fall into 4 categories. We provide internationally recognised accreditations for organisations in the form of company membership and for individuals in the form of professional qualifications. In addition to this, we also offer professional development opportunities and knowledge sharing. Today we'll be focusing on company membership and specifically about the CREST SOC accreditation. So what are the key benefits of accreditation and company membership? So the key benefits of becoming a CREST accredited member company are that you get independent, verifiable third-party assessment of your security testing business, and this helps with increased speed of engagement with customer procurement processes and enhanced customer confidence. CREST membership also offers international credibility and access to markets via our service selection platform and events hosted by CREST. In addition to this, you also get access to industry-leading guidance, standards and opportunities to share and enhance your knowledge. And all of this because CREST requires a rigorous assessment of member companies' business processes, data security and security testing methodologies. CREST member companies have a demonstrable level of assurance that their information security methodologies are able to provide their clients with a repeatable and high quality cybersecurity service. So just a brief introduction to some of the accreditations offered by CREST currently. CREST offers organisations the opportunity to be accredited to a number of different disciplines. These are penetration testing, vulnerability assessment, cybersecurity incident response, STAR penetration testing and threat intelligence, and finally SOC. Today, we're obviously going to be looking at the SOC accreditation process in more detail. So what is the SOC accreditation? The core objective of the CREST SOC accreditation is to identify companies who provide comprehensive, high quality and repeatable SOC services to buyers. In order to be accredited, applicants must provide a high level of assurance that they know how to deliver SOC capabilities in a consistent manner. These capabilities are demonstrated through the submission and on-site audit of documented processes and procedures that are used by the applicant organisations on a regular basis. The accreditation is awarded upon successful completion of the application form and the on-site audit. For new member companies wanting to join CREST, you'll first need to contact CREST to gain access to our membership application portal. Access to this is granted upon signing of our mutual NDA. Once the mutual NDA is signed, you'll be given a login to access the portal. You can then select and complete the application forms from within here. Once submitted, CREST will review this within 4 to 6 weeks and provide feedback or approval. Once approval has been given, you can be listed on the CREST website as having completed the application stage upon payment of the annual subscription fee. This allows you to demonstrate to buyers that you're undergoing the process of having completed the first step. The next step is for the on-site audit to be completed, which we will come on to in more detail soon. Upon successful completion of the on-site audit, you'll be awarded the full SOC accreditation and your entry will be updated on the website. For existing CREST member companies, this will be added to their existing entry. So the membership application portal. This is where you can find, review and complete the application form for the SOC accreditation. The assessment criteria is also available to download from within the portal. We will grant access to this to the representative who contacts us regarding company membership. This person can start the applications on behalf of their organisation and also invite other users to collaborate on any application they have started. This allows additional people from within the organisation to review the assessment criteria and contribute to the completion of the application. Access to this portal, as previously mentioned, is only granted upon signing the mutual NDA. For existing member companies, they should either contact their point of contact with CREST, or they can contact us directly and we'll direct you to the person who holds this access. Access to the portal can be amended as required, so please let us know if this needs to be done. So, talking about the application form itself, this is a series of questions where you will need to provide an assertion and then documented evidence. It is a review of what is written and what the organisation say they will do. The applications to CREST are split into two parts. For new applicants, both parts are required, but for existing CREST member companies, it's just the discipline application. You must be successful in both aspects to be approved for membership. A brief overview of the company application form requirements is shown on the screen now, but these are things such as your company details, your legal and insurance, and it is a requirement to have professional indemnity insurance to be a member company of CREST. We'll also look for things such as your contact details, your policies and procedures related to people. So this is things like joiners, leavers, vetting and staff development. Your approach to performing testing. So if you use contractors, we will assess this. And then your information security and quality management. In addition to this, member companies are also required to sign the CREST Code of Conduct. So moving on to the actual discipline application, the SOC assessment criteria is broken down into 6 aspects. These were identified during the development of the accreditation as being key to operating a SOC service. The first aspect, Aspect A, looks at your organisational environment. So this is to ensure that you have appropriate business and operating arrangements in place to run an effective cybersecurity monitoring, detection and response service. So within this section, we'll be looking for things, for example, like your management strategy, your business goals, performance and facility management, operational approaches, and any certifications and assessments held. The second aspect, Aspect B, is looking at the customer requirements. So this is to be able to identify and agree the client requirements. So that within this section, we'll be looking for things like how you engage with clients during the client engagement phase, contract and relationship management, your needs analysis, service management, and client reporting. Aspect C is looking at the technology and tools used within the SOC. And this is to ensure that you have appropriate tools and technology in place to deliver the service. So here we'll be looking for things such as your policies and procedures in relation to the procurement of technology, how you look at technology selection, how you look at the functionality, and finally the deployment of these tools in the real world. Aspect D is looking at your event analysis. So this is the procedures and method for the identification of, the analysis of, and the response to events. And this is to enable you to have an effective, enable you to be effectively identifying and analysing events and responding appropriately to alerts. The next aspect is the process for sourcing, reviewing, researching, and sharing threat intelligence and creating situational awareness about your clients. And finally, the final aspect, Aspect F, is protecting the SOC. And this is to ensure that you protect against threats to confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the information in the SOC environment. And this would be where we're looking at things such as your access controls and your physical security. So, whilst the review looks at what is written, the on-site audit is the validation of how this is used, known, and maintained within the SOC. So the one-day on-site audit of your SOC location is conducted by CREST, and this is a validation of the processes, policies, and methodologies previously submitted as part of the application. This will involve interviews with your staff members. If more than one location for your SOCs, we will audit at least 10% of these for accreditation. All areas of the assessment criteria will be covered. So as mentioned previously, this is your organisational environment, your customer requirements, technology and tools, event analysis, threat intelligence and situational awareness, and finally, protecting the SOC environment. This must be completed within 6 months of a successful application being approved. The application stage must have been completed before an on-site audit can be booked. Every SOC location will then need to be audited within a 3-year period. CREST also reserves the right to conduct an on-site SOC audit every other 3 years. We are currently developing a remote capability to be able to deliver this owing to the current COVID-19 situation, and more details about this will be available soon. So finally, how much does this all cost? So there are 2 administration fees associated with the SOC accreditation. The first is a £750 administration fee, and this covers the application review and any interactions with CREST. If your application isn't successful upon first submission, we will provide you with feedback, and you're able to resubmit within 90 days of this feedback, and this fee will cover that. For existing CREST memberships, this is reduced to £500. The 1-day on-site audit fee has a fee of £1,500, and this covers all the interactions with the auditor and also the feedback reports. Upon successful completion of the application, there is also an annual membership fee. Only region or global membership of CREST is available for the SOC accreditation. Regional membership of CREST costs £7,000 per annum, and we break down the regions into 4 areas. This is EMEA, Asia, the Americas, and Australia. Global membership is also available and covers all of the above, and this costs £25,000. For existing members, there is no additional annual fee to their annual membership, providing they are a regional member. So that concludes the presentation. I hope it's helped to explain the process and some of the assessment criteria. We'll now open up to any questions you may have, and hopefully we can help answer those.
Thank you for that, Johnny. That was great. Yeah, we've had a couple of questions come in. Somebody's asking, do you have to have CREST certified people for SOC accreditation?
So for the SOC accreditation, currently there isn't a mandatory requirement to employ a CREST qualified individual, so it is possible to be accredited without having CREST qualified staff delivering the service.
Just a reminder, so I've got a couple more questions to ask you here, but just a reminder for anybody that if you've got any questions for Johnny, if you'd like to type them into the question panel on your oh, there's another, yeah, they're coming in thick and fast actually here. So somebody else is asking, when is the technical assessment aspect of the accreditation due to come in?
So that's currently being developed, and unfortunately I'm not 100% sure on the date that might be available for companies to undertake. I'm not sure if Sam has more information on that one, but at the moment it's still under development.
Absolutely, just to confirm there, it is still under development. We are undergoing some review stages, so we are hoping sometime during 2021 we will be able to launch that. But anyone that's interested, we will be communicating that out to the whole CREST audience.
And then somebody's actually asking just if you could give a bit more on the benefits of being accredited.
Yeah, so we can go back to the accredited slide, 1 second. But yeah, essentially the key benefits of becoming a CREST accredited member company, as we said earlier in the webinar, is the independent, verifiable, third-party assessment of your security testing business. So this really helps you to increase the speed of engagement with your customers' procurement process, because they can be assured that obviously you've submitted your processes and procedures to an independent party, and they've been verified as being sort of fit for purpose and able to produce that sort of quality and repeatable service. So this helps to increase customer confidence. It provides you with international credibility, and then also you get access to sort of industry leading guidance, standards and opportunities to share and enhance your knowledge. It also allows you to provide structured professional development for your testers and your staff, and you get various discounts from CREST partners in terms of training and recruitment. We also offer the inside track on new opportunities and developments in the technical information assurance market, and you also get 2 places at the CREST technical conference, which is CRESTCon. So really it's down to that sort of having that independent, verifiable assessment of your business, which provides that increased confidence in your buyers that, you know, the services you are offering are sort of quality and have that repeatable aspect to them. So hopefully that sort of explains a little bit more. We do have various documents that we can send to you, which sort of run through the various activities that CREST are doing in the market and the various different opportunities that might be available. So please do contact us, and we can send that information across to you if that would help as well. So you got any more questions, Ali or Debbie?
Actually, I've just done something that I think everybody is doing all the time at the moment. I've actually just been chatting away to you and I was on mute. So, so just said, are there any UK specific requirements that need to be in place? Somebody's asking.
So I would say that in terms of the actual SOC application form, there aren't any UK specific requirements that need to be in place. The only differentiation for that would be perhaps for the company application form, where we would look for UK companies to undergo cyber essentials assessment. Obviously, for other countries, that isn't really possible, so that's not a requirement. It's more of a recommendation.
And then also there's a question. So, do you offer consulting? Does CREST offer any consulting services around building processes, etc., to basically any guidance, really, I suppose, around sort of getting CREST accreditation?
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, so we don't offer a consultancy service as it's an accreditation, but what we do offer is the assessment criteria, which can be accessed via the membership application portal, which we talked about briefly in the beginning of the webinar. So within the membership application portal, once you've signed the mutual NDA, you'll be able to download that. It's in the form of an Excel workbook, and that provides all the different aspects that we talked about. So that I'll go on to that slide. So within the assessment criteria, you'll be able to see all these aspects broken down into more detail, and it will identify the various things that we feel that there needs to be a process or a policy in place to cover, and it will provide you with some information of indicative evidence as to what this might look like in terms of what the policy may be, or what the procedure could be. So this is things like your standard operating procedures, your policies in relation to sort of information security, and aspects in relation to sort of event analysis and your threat intelligence. So I'd really recommend that if you were thinking about applying for the SOC accreditation, that you use the assessment criteria document in conjunction with the application form. The application form is designed to draw out the information required to evidence the criteria in the assessment criteria workbook, and obviously not all of the criteria in the workbook can be assessed via sort of a paper audit. So you would those aspects would be covered by the on-site audit.
That's brilliant. You've actually managed to answer somebody else's question. It was actually the next question. They've actually just said you've answered their question too with that answer. So that's brilliant. Somebody's actually saying, if we have SOC 2 report or ISO 2701 or something similar, will this help streamline the accreditation process with CREST?
It's difficult to say. It should help you, because in theory, in order to achieve those, you should have a lot of the sort of documentation in place already, and that would help, but it isn't a requirement to have those things in place in order to be accredited. So within the assessment criteria, you'll see that there's various ISO certifications that are recommended that a company holds. So these are 9001, 27001, and then 20000. So these aren't required in order to be successfully accredited, but they would be beneficial to a company to hold. So they're more there as recommendations. So that kind of leads me on to the point where we were saying that the certifications aren't mandatory to be accredited.
And there's excuse me. And then there's an interesting one. How do we get audited if we are a fully remote business? So there's no site.
So that falls into where we're currently developing the ability to be able to do this virtually. Obviously, as a part of what's happening in the world with COVID and so on, travel is not very possible anymore, and then also mixing with other people can be quite difficult. So yeah, so remote businesses, we would probably have to give some thought about how that would work in reality with you, but we'll work with you to do that. And the remote audit is going to probably look like a series of different sessions booked over maybe a few days to have interviews with different members of staff that are relevant to the operation of the SOC. So it should be more than possible to do that if you're a fully remote SOC. That shouldn't be a problem.
That's brilliant, thank you. And somebody asking here is if there's about failing the application. So about a time limit on reassessing.
Yeah, that's fine. So CREST, we try not to think of the application as a pass or fail, because it's very much like a two-way process. So if we review an application form and there's some areas that may not have been evidenced by the initial submission, or there's some feedback on the documents that were submitted, we'll provide that to you in a feedback report, and then you get 90 days from the date of the feedback to resubmit the application. And if you do that within the 90 days, there's no additional fee to doing that. So it's not like if you don't quite meet the criteria the first time, we're not just going to leave you and say goodbye. We'll work with you to try to get the processes and the procedures where they need to be.
Brilliant. And then this is interesting. Somebody's asking actually what are the benefits of paying for global accreditation over a specific region?
So it's all to do with the area of deliveries that you're providing your services in. So if you're only looking to provide services in a particular region, then regional membership would be the way to go. But if you have customers all over the world, in order to use the CREST SOC accreditation in those different regions, you would need to be covered by your subscription. So it's not to say that you couldn't provide your SOC services in a different country if you're only a regional member, but you wouldn't be able to do that under the CREST brand.
Can I just jump in there? Sorry. So I was just going to add, so sorry, this is Samantha Alexander. I probably should have introduced myself. So I'm the principal accreditor here at CREST. So I just wanted to give you another benefit for going global membership. So it is just that obviously as CREST is expanding internationally, you will have access to all those additional markets. So as well as being invited to any events in a particular country you're located or a particular region, by going global, you will have access to all CREST events and all CREST knowledge and workshops and webinars on an international basis. So if we're developing something new in a particular country, by being a global member, you will have access and insight into that. Sorry.
No, that's great, Sam. That's a very good point, and I can attest to that because I'll be, as the marketing person on this call, I'll be the person that would be sending out the invites to that, and that's what we would base the criteria on a very basic level to sending that stuff out. So and another question here, with a vast array of tools available to SOC, we find it hard to find differences. Do you provide any reviews or product tests guidance? Otherwise, can you point us to anywhere that could?
No, so CREST doesn't review tools. What we can do is within the tools, technology and tools aspect, which is aspect C, here we're really looking for your methodology in relation to the tool selection. So this is where you should have a procedure in place where you're looking at your existing capabilities, any future capabilities that you might have, and then looking at where the tools that you do currently have, whether they're meeting what you need. So really, in terms of the CREST accreditation, it's really just looking at how you select your tools, not necessarily what tools you are selecting. So to go back to the point, so I went a bit off track there, is we don't currently review any products or tools that are on the market.
So and actually this is an interesting question. For what are the physical security controls to be implemented for SOC?
Yeah, so this is really there's quite a few. It'd probably be better if we took that one offline, if you send that directly to me, because it depends on whether you got the NDA signed or not. But essentially it's looking at your user access controls. So this is things like how do people access your SOC, what security is in place, you know, how are you securing your information, so your like IT equipment, all that kind of thing, really. But yeah, if you want to email that one across, we can provide more detailed information about the specific requirements in the accreditation if you would like.
So I know who's asked the question, so I can send them an email afterwards and put you in touch, Johnny. So
yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
I said a lot of the assessment criteria, the information within that, it will provide you with the guidance you need to understand what sort of policies and procedures and controls you need in place.
Yeah, they've just sent another message. They're going to send an email, so we can get that sorted out.
That's great. Thank you.
Brilliant. So that's the end of the questions I've got here. You've certainly had a lot of questions there, Johnny. So I think that's you've done well there answering those. So I think if anybody's got any more questions, put them in now. It's your last chance. So that was a really good presentation. Thank you for that, Johnny.
No, it's okay. I appreciate it was quite a very quick run through. I thought there would probably be more questions related to the SOC accreditation rather than the information that I could give about how it works. So if anyone does have any questions, or if they would like to sort of get access to the portal, I'll scroll to the first slide. My email is on the screen now.
So you've got another couple of questions coming in. That always happens as you start to wrap up. You see, people are running out of time. So what are the current timescales for applications to be reviewed?
So time frames for being reviewed, we say that it's between 4 and 6 weeks once it's been submitted. We always aim to provide feedback as quickly as possible, but it depends on how many other reviews we're conducting at the time.
And then what type of guidance will CREST be providing?
In terms of the
feedback?
feedback?
I'm not entirely sure. I think it might be. I mean, maybe that's feedback on the application. In terms of SOC.
So the guidance is really the sort of assessment criteria document which is available on the application portal. So
they're actually saying yes in terms of feedback, actually. So feedback on the application, I think.
Yeah, so in terms of the feedback, we will provide a report where it will identify whether you've met the criteria, and then we also sometimes offer sort of observations for improvement. So if we identify something that perhaps maybe isn't quite clear, or maybe we think doesn't make might not work, then we can point that out to you, and then obviously you can take that away and see if that's something that you can implement. As I said, it's not a consultation, so we're not going to be rewriting policies and procedures for you, but we will point out if we think that something might need improvement.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much for that. So if anybody's got any further questions that they want to ask Jonathan, then please do send them through. I think I'm right in saying, Jonathan, that we can send out a copy of your slides.
Yeah, by all means, send the slides out. Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Brilliant, excellent. So thank you very much for that, Jonathan, and thank you everybody for attending today. So you've got another couple of seconds to send any more questions, but aside from that, thank you very much for attending, and we look forward to welcoming you back to another webinar at some point. And say, yeah, do send any questions through to us, and thank you very much, and see you again soon.
Yes, thank you.